Well, hello, traders from around the world. What's going on? It's me, Jeremy Alexander Newsome with RealLifeTrading.com. Hope you're doing fantastic. It's actually Thursday right now. Friday is tomorrow, of which you're watching this. And myself, Robert Meat, Leslie Gregory, Vinny Patel, Niels Christensen, Matthew, Greg, and maybe one or two others, depending on the weather. We're actually playing golf right now. And the golf course does not have Wi-Fi. So I wouldn't be able to send this to you in a proper, timely manner. So let me just go ahead and rock this out. We'll find out how this analysis shapes up tomorrow. We got a resistance, all-time high, new all-time high just yesterday, inside day candle today on the SPY. I'm thinking we break out either tomorrow, which would be today by when you're watching this, or sometime early next week. But the trend is still bullish. IWM looks gorgeous. Keep with the trend by the dip. The Qs, we're in some call options, inside day candle. Here's the hourly chart. Hourly chart, we'll probably chop around and not do all of that much tomorrow. Maybe slowly creep a little bit higher. But overall, I like the Qs to continue higher based on the gap from yesterday and that 100 simple moving average. So far, the weekly chart looks pretty good. Didn't have tons of requests for today, so this will be a pretty short stock review. Tesla did break the 100 simple, and this is going to be a very important candle, important being a Thursday. If Friday morning we gapped below the low of this Tesla candle, I will have had an option trade set up for it already. So we'll end up seeing how that plays out. This also could easily turn into a Morningstar reversal. Now, Morningstar reversal, I would wait for it to close above the high of Wednesday's candle before I end up getting in bullish shorter term on Tesla. Otherwise, I probably end up doing some type of fancy collar strategy with the longer term 3:30 January call that was purchased back on the 10th of July. We'll see how this candle is. Very important and pivotal location on Tesla today. Speaking of Apple, very important and pivotal location on Apple. Today is a new black crow candle battling the 10 if we gap down on Apple tomorrow morning. Specifically, if we open below 152.53, I think things will play out to be slightly bearish. So that's kind of my thoughts on Apple. Hopefully, though, we bounce. I did mention in the fall portfolio we would do something like this. So if we get something like that on Apple, that's cool. But very pivotal location on Apple today. Netflix, same thing. Nice little new black crow candle, but pretty decent lower shadow. If we gap above or below the high. So if we don't, then I'm not expecting anything interesting. But if we do open or close, open above the high or open below the low, I'll be a little bit more bearish or bullish depending on how it gaps. So tomorrow is going to be all about that gap. I'm all about that gap, No candle. GLGX, I think was requested. Was that it? CLGX. CLGX was requested. What do we got on this one? Core Logic. That's right. Core Logic. Nice pullback to the 50. That's where you're buying it. Now, I will say, I don't know if we've ever bounced off of the 50 before, but what I can say is the trend looks pretty good. We've pulled back to the 50, and if you bought low and sold high on Core Logic, good for you. Here's the weekly chart. Weekly chart looks pretty strong. We pull back to the 10. The trend is your friend. Looks saucy. This was the all-time high, so buy into weakness, sell into strength. The next time it makes an all-time high could be a good selling spot for you. And just two more. Roku IPO'd today. Huge up day, but that makes sense. IPOing. There's going to be a lot of people talking about it over the next 2 to 3 days. It's not a question of if, but when Roku starts rolling over, just like Snapchat did. This is a terrible IPO in my opinion, and will absolutely 100% go lower, especially if it takes out the low of this particular candle, which is 1575. Now, you can't short it or buy puts or anything like that. So for the next few days, sure, pull up the 15-minute chart and look to buy the dip. Now, if you're traders out there who can't trade based off candlesticks and you need your indicators, then you probably aren't trading Roku because it hasn't been around long enough to get any fun indicators like the MACD or anything like that. But if you're really good at trading, then you can just simply look at candlesticks and kind of understand what this stock is likely going to do, right? So if we gap up tomorrow, it'll be a retest gap, right? White candle gapping up, which probably will happen. Let it pull back and then buy the dip. Remember, Snapchat did go up after its IPO for 3 days, 2 or 3 days. I expect Roku to do something similar, but it's really only a matter of time before this thing goes lower. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I usually am about 50% of the time, but when I'm right, we're right big. And that is what counts. Folks, I hope you had a great trading week. Hope you have a great rest of your day and enjoy your weekend. I'll see you on Monday where I'll be broadcasting from Panama City Beach, Florida. And until then, remember, love life, live life, and trade it. You guys rock. Bye.